Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I want to see if I'm live. Yes, I'm live. Okay, so Sunshine of the Rain, which is Artem RRG. Alright, so it's silent. So it means that no. Change voice all to Korean. Okay, so let's do it again.
동행하겠다는 건 일종의 선택이죠.
Okay. Local restaurant. As the train arrives at the final destination, your trip also comes to an end. You're both rather fatigued by the bumpy ride, so the two of you decide to rest for 2 days at a local hotel before leaving. As a nice wrap up to your journey, you choose to have lunch in a restaurant famous for local cuisine. I can't believe that this trip is already coming to an end. I wish time could be slower. As you stare blankly at the plate before you, Artem, who is seated across of you, suddenly speaks.
다 먹고 나면 들어가서 일찍 쉬어요. 내일은 다른 일정이 있을 수도 있어요.
Other plans?
네. 오늘 아침에 갑자기 고객의 연락을 받았어요. 우리 변호사 사무소에서 큰 사건을 해결해 준 적이 있는데 그분이 우리를 손님으로 초대해 주셨어요. 별일 없다면 아마 이틀 정도 머무를 것 같아요.
Artem explains to you as he continues with his lunch. He stops eating upon noticing your silence.
만약 일찍 돌아가고 싶다면 거절해도 되니까 억지로 갈 필요는 없어요.
No, I'm completely fine with it. It just happens that I don't want to leave so soon either.
좋아요. 그럼 내일 저녁에 짐을 정리해서 목적지로 짐부터 보내죠. 우리는 이곳저곳 둘러보면서 천천히 출발해요.
Really?
당연하죠. 여행의 원래 목적이 기분 좋게 왔다가 기분 좋게 돌아가는 거잖아요. 돌아가고 싶어질 때까지 같이 있어줄게요.
Thanks, Mr. Wing. The jubilation on your face is so obvious that Artem can't help but be affected by it. He chuckles slightly. Hotel corridor. Back at the hotel, it's already dark by the time you finish packing. Remembering that you need to send your luggage over first, you head over to Artem's door. You take a deep breath before knocking. Mr. Wing, are you in? A minute passes, but there is no response. Has he gone out? Recalling the conversation you had with the waitress, you don't think this speculation is tenable? Hotel guest room.
요청하신 저녁 식사 룸 서비스가 준비되었는데 가져다 드려도 될까요?
I didn't remember ordering dinner. Did you make a mistake?
아닙니다. 같이 오신 일행분이 예약하셨습니다.
Mr. Wing, have you delivered the dinner to Mr. Wing yet?
조금 전에 가져다 드렸습니다.
Okay, thanks. It's not all that strange to invite him to dine together despite not going out to eat, right? You knock on Artem's door a few more times but no one answers. The sound of the door unlocking finally sounds just as you are about to call him.
미안해요. 못 들었어요.
Artem stands in front of the door. You can hear the fatigue in his voice although he appears no worse for the wear. Oh, is he asleep? Mr. Wing, you seem tired. Did something happen?
괜찮아요. 오후에 잠깐 낮잠을 잤어요.
He breathed a long sigh.
늦잠 자버렸네요.
Then you haven't packed yet, haven't you? I'm done with mine, so I can help you. Just take it as a thanks for ordering dinner for me. Ooh. Seeing Artem's hesitation, you suddenly regret making that thoughtless suggestion. If you're busy, I can... Seeing the guilt on your face, Artem shakes his head with a smile.
불편한 건 없어요. 근데 룸 서비스 시킨 건 다 먹었나요?
Oh, not yet.
절 도와주려거든 밥부터 먼저 먹고 와요. 전 대충 치우고 방에서 기다리고 있을게요.
Okay. See you in my room later. Oh my god! Artem said it so casually, but the gentleness in his tone makes a different sort of feeling well up in your heart. Before you become too flustered, you quickly turn around and return to your room. After she leaves, Artem goes back to his room. Looking at the tablet and the messy stack of files on his table, he lets out a light sigh.
다행히 못 본 것 같네. 즐거운 여행을 망치지 않으려면 돌아오기 전에 다 치워야겠군.
You bark words to vacation, Artem. You quickly finish dinner and head back to Artem's room.
문은 열어둬요.
Although his room looks the same as yours, his bed has been neatly made. It's clean and tidy. There are just some clothes left lying on the bed. Looks like he hasn't had the time to put them away yet.
미안해요. 이런 모습을 보이다니.
It's fine. I'm here to help anyway. Are these clothes the only things you need to pack?
다른 건 정리가 거의 끝났고 자잘한 물건들만 조금 남았어요.
Leave the clothes to me then.
알겠어요. 그럼 부탁할게요.
You start systematically folding the clothes. Lay them out, smooth out any creases, and then you fold them towards the center. As your fingers brush across the soft material, you begin to picture what they look like on Artem. What am I thinking? You shake your head and speed up your folding. Then you touch something strange under the pile of clothes. Mr. Wing, this is...
네?
Artem looked up and his expression freezes.
그건 잠잘 때 쓰는 안대예요. 오늘 밤에도 쓰려고 정리를 안 했는데.
A pair of funny eyes are drawn on the mask, staring right back at you. I know this is a sudden request, but can you wear it now? I am very curious. Artem says nothing as he casts a helpless and slightly glum look at you. Glum? He can't hold against the expectant look on your face, so he just nods.
네.
You're always thought that Artem's eyes are beautiful. They're so clear and pure, perfectly reflecting his personality. But this eye must let you see a different side of him. I see. Out of politeness, you try very hard to stifle your laughter.
웃고 싶으면 웃어도 돼요.
Oh my god! You thought that you could hold it back. But the contrast of the funny design against Artem's calm and composed voice is much greater than what you expected. Why did you buy this eye mask, Mr. Wing? I thought you would get something more normal.
지민 선배가 생일 선물로 준 거예요. 선물 받은 거고 잠잘 때 누가 볼 일도 없어서 그냥 쓰고 있었어요.
Well, not many people would normally get to see you while you're sleeping.
네, 근데 어쨌든 지금은 당신한테 들켰네요.
Artem smiles wryly, but the eye mask gives everything rather comical effect to the overall impression he makes. You cover your mouth immediately, trying to suppress the laughter that's about to burst out. Sorry, Mr. Wing.
괜찮아요. 사과할 필요 없어요.
Artem removes it. There is a glimmer of amusement in his eyes and he seems neither embarrassed nor displeased.
이렇게 웃음을 줄 수 있는 것도 흔치 않은 기회인데 전 정말 괜찮아요.
Mr. Wing, if you think about it, that this was a truly rare opportunity for you. I wonder what Mr. Wing looks like in his sleep. Coming to your senses, you immediately shake off the strange thoughts in your head and change the subject. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone about this.
네, 우리 둘만의 비밀로 간직해줘요.
Yeah. Alright, next act. Since your luggage has already been sent over, you and Artem embark on your journey with light packs the next day. The bus travels slowly along the sightseeing routes. The experience is much more relaxing than taking a train. At noon, the bus stops at a neighborhood park for people to have lunch. What should we eat? Mr. Wing? Artem seems to be lost in thought, but recovers himself upon hearing your voice. I don't know if it's just my imagination, but Mr. Wing looks kind of tired. Are you tired, Mr. Wing?
괜찮아요. 잠시 다른 생각을 좀 했어요.
Are you tired, Mr. Wing? Do you need to take a break?
괜찮아요. 잠시 다른 생각을 좀 했어요.
Please let me know if you're tired.
알겠어요. 보니까 주변에 노점상들이 많던데 먹고 싶은 거 있어요?
I want to try that one. You randomly point to a food stand which seems to have the longest queue. Why? Although the stall signage can be seen through the crowd, you assume the food must be quite tasty if there are that many people lining up for it. I thought people lined up here because of how delicious the food was, but... You look down at the cup of ice cream. There are two little spoons sticking out of it, and sprinkled on top are all kinds of small insects. Some of the longer ones seem soft and squishy, while the ones with shells look crunchy. According to the sign, this insect ice cream is a famous local specialty.
맛은 모르겠고 모양이 정말 특이하네요.
You look at Artem, who is empty-handed, and suddenly feel envious. But you were the one who suggested this in the first place, so you just can't back out now. Well, I can't with it, can I? You stare at the ice cream for a long time, unable to muster up your courage. You're too scared of what it might taste like. As time goes by, the ice cream starts to melt. You have no choice but to give it to Artem. Mr. Wing, can you help me with this?
어떻게 도와줄까요?
Artem holds the cup and looks at you with a smile. You close your eyes. The first step is always hard, so if you could stuff the first bite into my mouth, then... You nervously open your mouth. At this moment, you finally understand what 99 level of stress really means. You are so nervous that you feel your chest trembling slightly. Artem let out a light chuckle.
그럼 준비하세요.
You nod nervously. Artem's words are like the final announcement before an execution. As your anxiety reaches its peak. What? You open your eyes and rub your forehead with where someone had just flicked you. You look at Artem in disbelief.
그렇게 무서우면 억지로 먹을 필요 없어요.
But I can't with it, can I? It's okay, it's just ice cream. Even if they put insect in it, it shouldn't taste too bad.
정말 그렇게 생각했다면 방금처럼 떨지 않았겠죠.
Hey, don't laugh at me.
알겠어요. 안 웃을게요.
He easily obliged, but you can still see this obvious amusement in his
마침
eyes.
스푼도 2개인데 괜찮다면 제가 먼저 먹어볼게요.
Are you offering to help me check for poison?
그 정도는 아니에요. 먹기 전에 무슨 맛인지 알면 조금 덜 무섭겠죠?
Well, you look at Artem with hope in your eyes. Thank you, Mr. Wing. What's wrong?
아니에요. 그렇게 쳐다보고 있으니 긴장이 좀 돼서요.
Hearing him tell you his honest thoughts, you can't help a little embarrassed. I'll refrain from doing so.
괜찮아요. 안 그래도 돼요.
He shakes his head and picks up the spoon. He then takes a scoop of the ice cream covered with insects. He puts it into his mouth. A few seconds later, you see him frown. Does it taste weird?
조금은 이상하긴 한데 생각했던 만큼 그렇게 이상하지는 않아요.
Okay, let me try. You take a scoop hesitantly. The ice cream still tastes like ice cream. Maybe it's just your imagination that's making things worse. But the insect chopping have a weird texture to them. Just as you're trying to ease your discomfort, with the light sound of wings flapping, a sudden quack sounds behind you. Weren't these swans swimming in the lake earlier? Why did they come on the land?
배가 고픈가 봐요.
Hungry, but there is nothing to eat here. You follow Artem's gaze and notice the insect in the bowl. The swans are less elegant than usual after leaving the water. They extend their necks to beg for food from the tourists. Several tourists are being harassed by them and getting chased around in circles. No way, they can't eat this. We must finish it before we get surrounded by them. You plug up your courage to take another spoonful. It still tastes weird. Seeing that there's still a lot of ice cream left, you take a deep breath.
제가 먹을게요.
As Artem speaks, he takes the ball directly from you. But you don't mind sharing with me? Artem had thrown his spoon into the bin after he tried the ice cream for the first time. Ooh! But you've already had a few bites, so that would mean...
괜찮아요. 전 상관없는데. 혹시
Huh? Me? Of course not. Oh my god!
그럼 됐네요.
Seeing your spoon now in Artem's hand, you feel the heat rising up your face. So you quickly change the subject. Let's go feed the swans later. I saw somebody selling swan food over there.
네, 좋아요.
After finishing the special ice cream, you come to the side of the lake where many swans are resting. Mr. Wing, look, there are even more swans here. They seem quick to notice the food in your hand swimming towards you in a hurry. Sunlight glitters on the surface of the lake. Beneath the bright sunshine, the swan's white feathers seem to give off a soft glow. In the midst of the flock of white swans, there is one that is uniquely different. There's even a black swan here. Compared to the white swan that are more friendly to people, the black swan seems more composed and reserved. It trees its noble head and quickly looks at you, as though suddenly scoffing at your exclamation of surprise. Sorry.
지금 흑조한테 사과한 거예요?
Yeah, I think I was a bit too loud. I can't help apologizing in the face of its cold presence.
괜찮아요. 옛날 사람들은 아주 오랫동안 하얀 백조만 있는 줄 알았대요.
Really?
17세기 정도가 돼서야 흑조도 있다는 것을 알게 됐죠. 그 이후로 예측 불가능한 사건을 블랙 스완 사건이라고 칭하게 됐어요.
Which means it's actually quite rare that we get to see one today.
네, 맞아요.
You tentatively present the feed in your hand to the black swan. After examining the food for a few seconds, it finally realizes its guard and slowly starts to eat. It's eating. I've always heard that black swans are more proud, but they're actually kind of nice.
영화 작품에서는 자주 그렇게 말하죠. 어떨 때는 흑조와 백조는 모순되는 양면성을 가리키기도 해요.
Opposite side?
네, 백조는 고결함과 충성을 상징하고 흑조는
Black Swans finishes the feed in your hand. It raises its slender neck and looks at you and Artem.
흑조는 발버둥과 가식 없는 모습, 억압되지 않는 욕망, 그리고 갈망을 상징하죠.
In this moment, the lake is quiet and tranquil. But those elusive words have somehow caused a great stir within your heart. That's sad. As night falls, you arrive at your destination as planned. It's an old castle built above the sea, with only one path connecting it to the mainland. It has an air of solitude and magnificence. The shuttle bus run just above the sea level, like a boat sailing through the history. As you approach the castle, time seems to flow backwards, taking you back into the past. Rodi Castle.
오셨군요.
As you enter the castle, the man in front of you bows to you gently and greets you politely. Behind him, there are a few more staff members who are simply and elegantly dressed, looking as though they've come straight from the Middle Ages. If I recall correctly, this is Rodi Castle, the world-famous hotel renowned for the immersive experience it provides. it provides. So our client is spending his vacation here. Mr. Wayne, should we go pay him a visit after we put down our luggage?
아니요. 짐 풀고 좀 쉬세요.
Oh. Seeing your surprised face, Artem smiles apologetically.
사실은 초청을 받은 게 아니라 제가 그분한테 부탁해서 이곳을 예약한 거예요.
You asked him to?
네. 정상적인 루트로 예약하려면 내년까지 기다려야 하거든요. 마침 그분이 이 호텔의 주주 중 한 명이어서 매월 있는 정기 정비 기간에 이례적으로 우리를 받아준 겁니다. 이렇게 오랫동안 숨겨서 미안해요.
So that's why you don't see any other guests here. After greeting us, the castle staff returned to the chairs without mentioning anything about checking in. But why did you pick this place?
당신 때문에요.
For me?
전에 이곳에 관심이 많다고 했던 걸 들었어요. 이곳에 한번 데리고 오고 싶기도 했고 당신이 좋아하는 곳은 어떨지 궁금하기도 해서요.
Oh. After hearing what Artem said, you suddenly understand what's going on. You did talk excitedly about this hotel with Kiki once when you were having a group meal with your colleagues. I've almost forgotten about it myself. I didn't think he would remember something like this. But Mr. Wing, did you hear the whole story?
네. 지민 선배가 불러서 듣다가 불려갔어요. 왜 그래요?
Well, you avert your gaze and tell him the full story in rather an abashed manner.
만약에 기회가 되면 휴가 내서 같이 가요.
It'd be a waste to go with me. Don't you want to go with your partner in the future?
선배, 진심이에요? 이런 곳은 이성이랑 가기에는 좀 그래요.
Why? Wouldn't it be romantic to experience a medieval castle with the one you love?
이 호텔이 유명해진 이유는 따로 있어요. 그것 말고도 멋진 집사와 예쁜 메이드들이 밀착 서비스를 해준다고 들었어요. 그래서 이성이랑 가면 서로 오해할 일이 많이 생기죠.
I see. After hearing your explanation, Artem falls into a brief silence.
그래서 이곳 집사가 마음에 든다는 소리예요?
Wait, I'm actually a little interested, a little curious. I see, I'm not really interested. It's just that I've only ever seen butlers in movies, so I was a little curious. Your voice grows smaller and smaller in your embarrassment. Artem goes silent for a few seconds and looks thoughtfully at you.
그럼 아까 그 사람들을 쳐다본 게
What? I was curious, so I glanced at them a bit.
정말요?
I look because I thought that would suit you well. Just as you're getting flustered, Artem, who has been holding a certain expression, suddenly starts laughing.
긴장하지 마요. 장난이에요.
Okay. You let out a breath in relief as you feel your heart calming down. A young man dressed as a butler is standing nearby. He comes over upon seeing your conversation to draw to a close.
여행이 힘드셨을 텐데 방에서 잠시 휴식을 취하고 계시면 저녁을 준비하겠습니다. 아가씨의 방은 얼마 전에 리모델링을 마쳤고 현재 고성의 2층에 있습니다. 제가 안내해드리겠습니다.
Sure, thanks.
별 말씀을요.
Artem eats less than usual at dinner. He seems to have lost his appetite. In case he feels hungry in the middle of the night, you specifically ask the staff to prepare some snacks. Hi, I wonder if it's the insect ice cream. That's my fault too. Following the butler, you arrive at Artem's store with a plate and are about to deliver it yourself. Your hands are full, so the butler knocks on the door for you.
실례하겠습니다. 요청하신 간식을 준비했습니다.
들어오세요.
Artem's voice comes from behind the door. The butler gives you an encouraging look. You pluck up the courage to open the door. Inside the room, Artem is talking to a tablet.
왜 그래? 누구 왔어?
It sounds like Celestine. With the time difference, it should be daytime in Celis now. Are they having a video conference?
그냥 호텔 직원이에요. 계속.
As he speaks, he looks up to see that it's you. His face is scarlet with surprise. I'll keep quiet. You mouth the word and carefully leave the plate on the table. Although you didn't make any sounds to interrupt him, you hear a playful sound from the tablet.
직원이라면서 우리 백 변호사님은 왜 그렇게 놀란 표정일까요? 아, 옛날에 여행 다닐 때 로디 고성에 예쁜 메이드들이 많다고 들었는데 그분들한테 반한 건 아니겠죠?
주 변호사님은 이번 협상에 자신이 있나 보네요. 다른 일에 신경 쓸 정도로 한가한 거 보니.
Artem sounds a little annoyed. Even his tone is colder than usual.
계속하시죠. 전에 말했듯이 우리는 귀사가 제시한 배상 금액에 동의하지 않습니다. 구체적인 금액을 논의하기 전에 조항을 하나씩 따져가며 각자의 책임을 규명해야겠네요. 만약 이런 사소한 일도 처리 못하고 사실을 흐린다면 우리 측은 법적으로 가는 것도 나쁘지 않다고 봅니다.
그게 안 되는 건 아니지만 조금 더 살펴보겠습니다.
As Artem puts the pressure on the other lawyer, Radcliffe's stance gradually weakens. The negotiation soon comes to an end. You can hear Celestine and another colleague chatting on the video call. You can't really speak now, seeing as you were mistaken for a staff member earlier. You take this opportunity to raise your eyes on his face and lose your feel. Your gaze travels slowly over his face, from his slightly furrowed eyebrows down to his lips. He glanced at you and looks away quickly, but his face unwittingly turns red.
네, 지민 선배 말대로 다음에 같은 문제가 발생하면 조심해야겠네요.
Although he's trying to remain calm, he is still a little flustered.
백 변호사, 얼굴이 왜 이렇게 빨개? 아까부터 이상하다 생각했어. 우호적으로 협상하자고 하다가 갑자기 공격적으로 변해서 상대를 겁주고 말이야.
아무 일도 아니에요. 이곳에 처리할 일이 좀 남아서 먼저 끊겠습니다.
Artem evenly turns off the computer. With a deep sigh, he turns around and looks at you. He appears to be at a loss.
아까 왜 그렇게 뚫어지게 쳐다봤어요?
Can I?
그건 아니지만
You take the opportunity to change the subject. You finally ask the question that you've always been curious about. Speaking of which, why have you suddenly working all of a sudden? Is it a very busy
별일
law firm?
아니니까 걱정하지 마요.
Artem lightly dismissed your doubts. You don't know what to say, so you give the plate a push. Well, if you're hungry, you can try these snacks. Try to get some rest if you can.
네, 당신도 일찍 자요.
After you leave, you feel uneasy and a little worried. It's strange. You try to deal with your anxiety as you walk back. With your mind in chaos, you suddenly remember something. Oh, I forgot to bring the herbal tea I just made. I only brought the snack. Without thinking, you rush back to the kitchen in a hurry. You soon return to Artem's room with the herbal tea and knock on his door again. Mr. Wing, I forgot the herbal tea just now. I heard it helps with sleep. Would you like some? The door has been left ajar and a faint light is visible through the gap. It is evident that Artem hasn't gone to sleep yet, but there's no response from him even after you've knocked several times. Strange. After hesitating for a little while, you cautiously open the door. The bathroom door is half open. You can hear the sound of the tap running. Rosa! Artem is hunched over the sink, coughing uncontrollably, his face scrunched up in pain. Oh, he's sick. Mr. Wang, are you alright? Nice act. It's late at night, but you still can't sleep, so you decide to go for a walk. Am I just worrying too much? You sit down on the sofa. The conversation you had earlier keeps repeating in your mind. Mr. Wang, are you not feeling well? Why are you?
괜찮아요. 살에 들린 거예요. 걱정시켜서 미안해요.
Artem shakes his head. He picks up the teapot you broke and pours himself a cup of tea. You notice that he only took a small sip before putting it down, unable to hide the fatigue on his face.
허브차 잘 마실게요. 시간이 늦었는데 어서 들어가서 쉬어요.
Okay. Before you go, you glance back at his desk. The food on the plate is barely touched. The tablet is still on and there's a lot of information being displayed on the screen. Thinking back, you start to realize that maybe he wasn't choking but rather feeling nauseous. Was it because of work? It's common for someone to lose their appetite due to stress when they are not well rested. After some consideration, you decide to call Celestine. Fortunately, because of the time difference, they're on their lunch break right now in Dallas.
무슨 일이야? 갑자기 전화를 다 하고. 거긴 새벽이잖아.
Well, I overheard the video conference and I got worried. I have a question for you. Why is Mr. Wing still working on his vacation? Is he on an emergency case?
백 변호사가 말 안 했어?
Tell me what? There's a brief moment of silence on the other end of the phone, followed by a heavy sigh.
그럴 줄 알았어. 백 변호사 성격에 너한테 말할 리가 없지.
Celestine?
모르겠다. 그냥 솔직히 말해줄게. 백 변호사가 며칠 전에 사정이 좀 생겨서 휴가 기간을 연장하고 싶다고 연락했어. 원래는 일이 바빠서 안 된다고 했는데 백 변호사가 업무는 너랑 잘 마무리할 거라고. 너한테 말하지 않았을 줄은 몰랐어. 백 변호사가 말했던 사정도 그냥 너를 며칠 더 쉬게 해주고 싶어서 낸 핑계 같아. 여행 중에 두 사람 업무를 혼자 처리하려고 하다니 외국에서 과로사로 죽고 싶은 건가?
I see. So that's why. You promised that you will stop Artem and return to work as soon as possible. Then you hang up the phone. Mr. Wing. I will be annoyed. He's been quietly enduring all the stress by himself so that this trip can happen. You feel moved by his dedication and a myriad of other complicated emotions. I should have a frank discussion with him tomorrow and book tickets to go back as soon as possible. You mumble to yourself and sigh. Then you suddenly hear a voice here.
아가씨, 왜 그렇게 빨리 돌아가시려는 건가요? 그분과 더 같이 있고 싶지 않으신가요?
You turn around and see the butler. He has the cleaning cloth in his hand and looks like he was just about to wipe down some of the furniture. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't even know when he came in. It's not that I don't want to, but we have some urgent work to do, so we may have to leave earlier. The butler smiles politely upon hearing you, moving to resume his work.
정말 고생이 많으시군요. 그럼 편히 쉬세요. 내일 아침에 장을 보러 가니까 필요하신 게 있으면 언제든지 말씀해 주세요.
Sure thing. The next day, you are awakened from your dreams by the sound of battering rain and howling wind. Although it is morning, the sky is free from the thick dark clouds. What? As soon as you open the door, you see Artem, who's been waiting outside your room for a while.
놀랐어요?
I find it's just a little loud. You look around and find that the castle is especially empty. Why don't I see any of the stuff in the castle?
미안해요. 아마 당분간 못 돌아올 거예요.
Why is Mr. Wing apologizing? Artem sighs as you look at him in confusion. He continues speaking.
갑자기 들이닥친 폭풍우 때문에 수위가 높아져서 육지로 통하는 길이 잠겨버렸어요. 아침부터 장을 보러 육지로 간 직원들도 돌아오지 못하고 있어요. 쉽게 말해 고성이 고립됐다는 소리죠.
An island? Does that mean we're stuck here for now?
네. 그래도 고성에 아직 먹을 게 남아 있어서 며칠 더 버틸 수 있을 거예요. 이런 악천 후에는 구조 작업도 진행할 수 없어서 경찰 측은 기다리는 게 가장 안전하다는 생각이에요.
The wind is blowing fiercely and the rain pelts harshly against the window, yet you feel strangely relieved. In that case, we can forget about our trip and focus on work, right? After all, as partners, we should be working together. I shouldn't be leaving everything to you. When he gets over the initial shocks, Arthur smiles helplessly.
다 알았군요.
I walked in during I walked in during your call yesterday. It's not all that hard to figure it out. But before we start working, you look at Artem solemnly and voice the issue that you are most concerned with. First thing first, let's have lunch. Half an hour later, you walk into Artem's room with plates in your hand. There are ham slices, bread, and some fruits. It's the best you can do with the existing ingredients.
직접 만든 거요?
Yep. Would you like to try some?
네, 잘 먹을게요.
Artem seems to be trying hard to hide his discomfort, attempting to eat as naturally as possible. But you see a slight frown on his face and his slight hesitation before swallowing the food.
맛있네요.
Liar, you're not in the mood to think about food right now, are you? You stop him from eating. Don't force yourself if you don't want to eat. You'll feel nauseous again later. Let me go to the kitchen and see what I can do.
잠시만요.
As soon as you stand up to go to the kitchen, he grabs your wrist.
아직 다 먹어본 것도 아닌데 왜 그렇게 급해요?
Okay. Other than the ham slices and the bread, there are only cut fruits on the plate. So you pick up a piece of fish with the fork. If you insist, then try this. Fruit is not as heavy and is appetizing. As you speak, you carefully place the fork next to his mouth. Mr. Wing, do you want to try this?
네.
Artem hesitates at first. In the end, he lowers his head slightly and takes a bite. The juice drips down the fork onto your fingertips. You don't have time to wipe it clean. Your only focus is on observing his reaction. How is it? Can you eat it?
맛있네요. 엄청 달아요.
That's good. Eat more while you still have the appetite.
제가 할게요. 당신도 많이 피곤할 텐데.
It's okay. I'm not tired. All of a sudden, you feel reluctant to let go. You subconsciously refuse his offer. This is a rare opportunity. Let me do it.
그럼 부탁할게요.
You hold out the fork. The sweet fruity fragrance fills the air. The corners of his mouth twist into a smile. Someone once proposed the concept that eating is a type of desire and one of the three human desires. This behavior leads to the release of dopamine, which means that it should be a pleasant thing to do. Mr. Wing, you don't actually have to force yourself. Just say so when you don't have an appetite. Same forward. We are partners. You can ask me for help. You said that black swans and white swans are referred to as the two sides of the people. While being disciplined, sometimes you should try to relax and not force yourself, don't you think?
사실
Artem lowers his head and bites the other half of the fruit. His breath drifts over your fingers, making the juice even stickier.
저도 그랬던 적이 있어요.
Nice.
저도 그랬던 적이 있어요. 억지로 한 게 아니라 다 제가 하고 싶은 일을 했을 뿐이에요.
Oh? Artem takes the fork out of your hand and hands you a wet wipe.
이상하지 않아요? 장 보는 거야 몇 명이면 되는데 직원이 전부 같잖아요.
Was it because you asked? Artem nods slightly. As he speaks, his voice is no longer as calm as how he usually is.
그분들도
There is a hint of desire in it. The heck?
그분들도 제 부탁 때문에 낮에 일부러 자리를 비켜준 거예요.
Wait.
우리 둘만의 시간을 좀 더 가지고 싶었어요.
Too loud.
원래는 저녁에 돌아오기로 했는데 폭풍은 예상하지 못했어요. 미안해요. 어렵게 온 여행인데.
It's okay, Mr. Wing. You don't have to apologize. You wave your hand and look at the fierce storms outside the window. You suddenly feel thankful. What Artem did was actually what you would have wished for. But why did you hide your word from me? Are you sure you're not forcing yourself to work? Artem smiles gently at your concerns.
제 생각이 짧았네요. 실은 무리라고 생각하지 않았어요.
Weren't you?
처음에는 당신이 즐겁게 놀길 바랐어요. 업무 때문에 즐거운 여행의 흥이 다 깨질까봐 그랬죠. 일부러 무리한 게 아니라 그냥 제가 고집을 부린 거죠.
So Mr. Wing has been thinking about me. You feel touched that he thought about you, and also because he admits to being stubborn. You never thought of someone so disciplined could ever behave like that. At this moment, you cannot hide your happiness anymore. Then, can you be honest with me when you're being stubborn next time? I hope we can discuss and resolve everything together, no matter what. Just treat it as a little demand from me.
네, 그럴게요.
Artem looks at you with a smile in his eyes, reflecting the warm light with his brilliant and unique charm. But his next words are like a splash of cold water.
그럼 이제 해야 할 일을 알려줄게요. 지금 처리해야 하는 안건이 2개 있는데 고객한테 법률 분석 보고서를 보내야 해요. 기간은 내일 아침까지예요.
You work until midnight and finally finish the unexpected task. After making sure that Artem has gone to bed, you head to the castle lobby to plan for tomorrow's meal. Artem has just regained his appetite and need to make something easy to digest. Looking at the ingredient in your notebook, you start to search for cooking videos on the internet. As the time flies, and before you know it, 1 hour has passed. You hear strange sounds coming from the outside of the window, taking away your focus from the videos. Is it because of the castle is built on the sea that it is so windy? The howling winds and the heavy rain beating against the glass are making the entire window frame creak. I should probably go back. Just as you stand up, an earth-shattering thunderclap suddenly sounds. And all the lights in the lobby go out at the same time. The place falls into complete silence, to complete darkness. It's fine, the circuit breaker just tripped because of the lightning. You mutter to yourself for courage while using your phone as a flashlight to slowly navigate towards your room. The faint light is almost visible in the spacious corridor. Your vision is plagued by the endless darkness. Just as you are scared out of your wits, Artem's face appears in your mind. No, I can't. Mr. Wing must already be sleeping. He hasn't slept for so many days. I shouldn't disturb him. Gritting your teeth, you shake your head and move forward. Suddenly, a message pops up on your phone. Are you alright? Oh, it's Mr. Wang. Once the excitement dissipates, you quickly suppress the urge to show weakness. After thinking for a moment, you type up a reply. I'm fine, just getting ready for bed. A few seconds later, you send the message. An incoming call appears on your phone.
진짜 괜찮아요?
Before you can speak, you hear a gentle voice from the other end of the phone. At this moment, his voice is like your only lifeline, and you quickly lost your resolve.
지금 방해요? 지금 가도 괜찮아요? 저한테 비상용 촛불이 있는데 무서우면 촛불 켜고 있어요.
I'm not in my room. I'm just on my way back from the lobby. After a brief moment of silence, you hear a firm statement over the phone.
데리러 갈게요. 조금만 기다려요.
Just like he promised, you hear his footsteps at the end of the corridor in just a few minutes. Your fear has vanished. You feel so safe that you almost want to cry.
제가 안 물어봤으면 이대로 혼자 어둠 속을 더듬어가며 돌아오려 한 거예요? 갑자기 정전돼서 무서웠죠.
Artem pauses ahead of you. Rather than being exasperated, he sounds worried. A little. In the dark, he heaves a light sigh and gently takes hold of your hand.
가요.
Huh? Where are we going?
지하실이요. 오늘 저녁에 바람이 많이 불어서 피레침까지 날아가 버렸어요. 이 유리로 된 창문들도 얼마나 버틸 수 있을지 모르니 지하실에 가서 잠시 피해 있죠.
Okay. You nod and follow him to the heart of the castle, no longer feeling trouble. Basement. The flame in the fireplace is sufficient to dispel the chill brought in by the storm. It makes the room feel warm and relaxed. Sitting on the edge of the wooden bed, you take a deep breath and look at Artem, who's fiddling with some firewood. Thank you, Mr. Wing. I thought you'd go back to sleep after I said I was fine, but you actually came out to find me. Artem hangs the tongs next to the fireplace. He then turns around and looks at you.
제가 문자를 보낸 건 자고 있는지 확인하기 위해서였어요.
So you will still come to find me no matter what I say?
네.
Artem gives a small nod and sits across from you at the wooden table. Under the faint light, he looks especially gentle.
시간이 많이 늦었으니 일찍 쉬어요. 이부자리는 창고에서 꺼내면서 깨끗한지 확인했으니 걱정하지 말고 푹 자요.
What about you, Mr. Wayne?
바로 옆에 방이 하나 더 있으니 잠드는 거 보고 갈게요.
No. Having perhaps misunderstood your protest, Artem instantly assumed an apologetic expression. You explained what you really meant in a hurry. You've been working so hard lately. You are the one who needs rest. You shouldn't have to look after me. He exhales a sigh, smiles, and shakes his head. He decides to respect your choice.
알겠어요. 그럼 걱정 말고 푹 쉬어요.
Yeah, I will. Don't worry, Mr. Wing. As you speak, you flip open the blankets on the bed and lie down. Artem walks to the door where he hesitates for a moment and finally decides to leave it ajar.
문은 조금 열어둘게요. 바로 옆에 있으니 무슨 일이 생기면 바로 불러요.
Sure. Good night, Mr. Wing.
잘 자요.
As Artem's footsteps fade away into the distance, you slowly slip out from bed. Perhaps it is because of the increasingly violent storms outside. Although you're underground, you can sometimes hear strange noises coming from the dark surroundings. Now that you're alone, the sense of dread returns to you once again, rising up within you like a great tide. Luckily, I've managed to persuade Mr. Wing to leave, otherwise he'd never have gotten any rest. You grab hold of the blanket and stare blankly into the burning fireplace, trying to calm yourself down. The clock on the wall keeps ticking, but you don't feel sleeping at all. You release a faint sigh, bury your head in your arms and curl up. Then you hear a familiar voice from behind the door, gentle and indulgent.
역시 괜찮은 척 하는 거였군요.
Next act.
역시 괜찮은 척 하는 거였군요.
You lift your head in slight astonishment and fix your eyes on Artem, who's standing at the door. Mr. Wing, why are you...
걱정돼서 와봤어요.
Artem slowly walks in. Unlike the last time, he now has a ball of fine wool in his hand.
갑자기 전에 배운 게 생각났어요. 도움이 될 것 같아서요.
Oh, an old trick?
손 줘봐요.
You do as you're told. He crouches down and rubs the end of the wool thread on your wrist. He slowly explains while he ties the knot.
학교 다닐 때 보육원에 실습을 간 적이 있어요. 이건 그곳 원장님이 알려주신 거예요. 아이들이 무섭거나 혼자 자기 싫어하면 이 방법을 쓴다고 하셨죠. 털실로 두 사람의 손을 이렇게 묶어두면 어떤 일이 생기든 바로 알 수 있죠.
Seeing the knot on the thread, you realize that the other end is connected to Artem. To hide your embarrassment, you quickly look away from your wrist. I'm not a child. Why are you using a childish trick on me?
어린애라면 오히려 솔직하죠. 아프거나 무서우면 울기라도 하잖아요.
There is a faint smile on Artem's face as he speaks. It's clear what he's referring to. I knew I couldn't hide anything from Mr. Wing. He starts to tell you about his past, as if trying to calm you down.
부모님은 독립심을 길러주려고 절 어릴 때부터 혼자 자게 했어요. 그때 저는 밤이 무서웠고 이런 무서운 날씨도 싫어했죠.
You would get scared too?
네, 많이 무서워했는데 그때는 저도 그렇고 저희 부모님도 이런 방법을 몰랐어요.
As he's right next to you, he can't hide the special emotion in his
근데
face.
지금은 극복하는 방법을 알아서 이렇게 공유할 수 있네요. 혼자서 억지로 버티려고 하기보단 이 방법에 의지하고 그리고 제게도 의지해줬으면 좋겠어요.
Okay. Hearing his soft words, you can't help but lower your defenses and give up on the brave front you've been trying to put up. Will you keep this thread on your wrist while you're sleeping?
내일 날이 밝을 때까지 묶고 있을게요. 실은 옆방까지 갈 정도로 충분히 길고 살짝만 당겨도 느껴지니 걱정하지 마세요.
That's good. You touch your wrist and suddenly think of a question. But Mr. Wing, where did you get this wool thread?
스웨터 털실이에요. 혹시 갑자기 기온이 떨어져서 추울까봐 스웨터를 챙겨왔는데 이렇게 쓰게 될 줄은 몰랐네요.
You can't help letting out a giggle. Sorry, Mr. Wing, it's my fault. I'll buy you a new one when we get back. Artem sighed lightly as he accepted your offer.
알겠어요. 나중에 딴 말하기 없게요.
I will keep my promise. You look at each other and smile. The threat has already reduced the gap between the two of you. Good night, Mr. Wing. This time, you finally fall asleep. It was a deep and dreamless sleep. When you wake up, the sky has already cleared up. A faint light shines through the basement windows. It's overly bright to you, who has not seen sunlight for several days. You rub your ears and get up from the bed, but you don't see Artem anywhere. The piece of thread on your wrist extends to the doorway, where it is bunched up neatly into a ball. Where is Mr. Wing? You cut the thread, leaving only the part around your wrist. Then you run outside. Outside of the basement, the castle looks like a dark filter has been removed. It is no longer so silent and gloomy. Everything that happens before seems like a brief dream. The staff members are everywhere. Most of them are busy cleaning up, which gives the castle a much livelier atmosphere. In the corridor, a strange thought suddenly crosses over your mind as you look at a completely different castle. You wish the storm could have lasted a little longer.
아가씨, 정말 죄송합니다. 많이 놀라셨죠?
While you are deep in thoughts, a voice suddenly snaps you back to reality. You turn around. It is the same butler from earlier. It's okay. No one could predict this natural disaster. That's more like it. That was a weird thought I just had too. Oh, right. Have you seen my companion?
네, 아까 2층으로 가신 것 같았습니다.
Thank you. You give your thanks and hurry off in the direction he pointed towards. You are surrounded by grand decorations, profound sculpture, and famous paintings, which all perfectly recreates the castle in people's imaginations. But you have no time to marvel, as all you care about right now is getting past the rows and rows of bookshelves. In this moment, all you want is to find him and prove to yourself that the roaring storm was not just an illusion crafted from your imagination. Mr. Wing. In front of the bookshelves in the corner, Artem lifts his head and looks at you. The dazzling sunlight falls on his back and the page of his book reflecting a gentle luster.
좋은 아침이에요. 조금 더 자지 왜 이렇게 일찍 일어났어요?
No, things feel a little strange now that the storm has suddenly stopped. The sunlight woke me up. Seeing your embarrassed smile, Artem can't help but chuckle.
저도 잠이 안 와서 책 좀 보고 있었어요.
What are you reading, Mr. Wing?
이건 직원이 추천해준 책인데 이 고성이 지어질 때의 역사적 이야기가 담겨 있어요.
Perhaps due to the curious look on your face, Artem starts to elaborate more on it before you even ask. His soft and gentle voice echoes slightly in the library as he leads you to explore this hidden corner of history.
이 고성은 마지막 국왕의 손에 지어졌어요. 그는 돈과 권력을 둘러싼 투쟁에서 벗어나고 싶어 육지와 떨어진 바다 위에 성을 짓고 왕비와 함께 살려고 했죠. 성을 짓는데 시간이 아주 오래 걸렸는데 성이 완공되기 직전 왕비가 병에 걸려 죽었어요. 그녀의 영혼이 집으로 돌아올 수 있길 바라며 국왕은 결국 육지로 통하는 길을 짓기로 했어요. 그는 왕비가 길을 잃어버리지 않게 죽을 때까지 성의 모든 방을 항상 환하게 밝혔다고 해요. 주변 어부들은 악천 후에도 환히 밝혀져 있는 불을 보고 방향을 알 수 있다고 이 성을 귀로의 등불이라고 불렀어요.
It sounds like this king was deeply in love. He looks at you with a hint of inquisitive in his mouth.
만약 당신이었다면 좋아하는 사람과 단 둘이서 세상과 단절된 성에 살 수 있을 것 같아요?
Huh?
당신은 그럴 수 있나요? 이런 방식으로 평생 서로를 지켜주면서.
As Artem waits for your answer, he gently closes the book in his hand. By the time the book is returned to its corner of the bookshelf, you've decided your answer. Oh, I get to answer it. If it's me, yeah, I am an introvert, but I want to go to see the world. Rather than living in a castle, I prefer to live in a bigger world.
그럼 상대와 헤어질 건가요?
No, I will try to convince him and then take him with me. Hearing your answer, a meaningful smile appears on Arthur's face.
당신다운 답변이네요.
Enough about me now. What about you, Mr. Wing? What would you choose?
저요? 전 상대방이 원하는 곳이라면 어디든지 갈 수 있어요.
How could you be fine with anything? Didn't you promise to tell me all your selfish desire?
거짓말 아니에요.
Artem gazed into your eyes, serious and sincere.
동행하겠다는 건 일종의 선택이죠.
This was just an ordinary question, but hearing his answer makes your ears suddenly feel hot. Well, you are right.
사실 저희는 생각이 일치할 때가 많은 것 같아요.
Artem pats your forehead gently as he speaks. As he does that, you see a ring of woolen thread around his wrist, identical to yours.
항상 말했듯이 억지로 버티지 말고 제 기분과 생각을 배려하려고만 하지 마세요. 언제라도 당신이 원하는 일을 마음껏 하고 싶은 말을 거침없이 하면 좋겠어요. 제 앞에서는 별로 안 참아도 돼요.
His gentle words reach out to your heart. To you, these words are less like persuasion but rather temptation. Okay. A second later, you wrap your arms around him in an embrace, much to his surprise. Artem has his back against the bookshelf. The gentle impact sends some books falling onto the ground. The smell of old books fills the air. It creates such a nostalgic feeling that you can't help but say, will we have more chances to spend time together alone after this trip?
물론이죠.
Artem strokes your hair as he answers softly. I'm glad. The books are all over the floor. We better clean them up later.
그래요.
The romantic atmosphere is quietly brewing in this little space between the bookshelves. In this moment, neither of you want to let go. All you want all you want is to feel the gentle warmth of each other's bodies as you hold onto this embrace. Time seems slow down as each moment stretches out and every second becomes a treasured eternity in both your hearts. The end. Wait, I want. What about selling castle? I would. It must be such a beautiful time, life. I would. It must be such a beautiful life to be forever together and free from all disturbance.
시간이 지나면서 서로에게 찔릴 수도 있는데도요.
No, I'm more worried that the time we have is limited. Hearing your answer, a meaningful smile appears on Artem's face.
당신다운 답변이네요.
Enough about me now. What about you, Mr. Wing? What would you choose?
저요? 전 상대방이 원하는 곳이라면
Yeah. Okay, so we get. This.
미안해요. 아직도 시차 적응이 안 됐나 봐요. 조금 전에 자느라 전화를 못 받았어요. 아픈 것도 없고 밥도 잘 먹고 있으니까 너무 걱정 말아요. 네, 저도 그 뉴스 봤어요. 로디 고성은 썰물 때가 되면 정상적으로 영업이 가능할 거예요. 맞아요. 어떻게 보면 그날의 폭풍우도 블랙스완 사건이라고 할 수 있겠네요. 심각한 피해는 없었지만 개인적으로 적잖은 영향을 받은 것 같다는 생각이 들어서요. 뭐 이기적으로 변해보려 한다든가 그런 거 있잖아요. 당신과 같이 있을 때 어느새 변해가는 제 모습이 너무 좋아요. 무슨 일이요? 하고 싶은 말이 있어 보이는데? 제 앞에서는 주저하지 않고 말하기로 약속했었잖아요. 절 만나고 싶다고요? 지금 당장이요? 안 된다는 건 아닌데 조금 놀랐어요. 당신이 저와 같은 생각을 하고 있을 줄은 몰랐거든요. 농담 아니에요. 전엔 혹여 제 마음이 부담스럽진 않을까 걱정돼서 표현을 제대로 못했어요. 그래서 몰랐을 거예요. 이제 당신 앞에서 표현할 수 있도록 노력해 볼게요. 맞아요. 당신 말대로 습관을 들이려면 지금 당장 시작하는 게 좋겠죠. 그런 의미로 이번엔 제가 물어볼게요. 지금 보러 가도 될까요? 굳이 뭘 말할 필요는 없고 그냥 편하게 산책만 해도 좋을 것 같아요. 그럼 지금 바로 갈 테니까 잠깐만 기다려요.
Okay.
네.
Oh, this. Isn't that not that plenty? Just for the castle. Wow. Rodi Castle was built on 18th century, 1.5 kilometers away of the coast of Kylas. The owner was the king of Lombardia, King Rodi III. He hated the politics and the people around him that only sought after fame and fortune, so he spent years building this remote sea castle, hoping to live in seclusion with his queen. At first, the castle could only be reached by boat, but during the construction of the castle, the queen unfortunately fell ill and passed away. In order for the queen's soul to return home, King Rodi III ordered the construction of a passage, which is still used today. King Rodi III spent the remainder of his life alone in his castle, in which every room was always lit. Fishermen would use it as a beacon of light to find their way home. Hence, people name it the light back home. Today, Rodi Castle has been turned into a themed hotel that delves into medieval life. The employees have gone through extensive training to deliver an immersive experience to every guest. This is the reason why Rodi Castle is packed and room must be booked at least 6 months in advance. Okay, that is all. Bye bye.